of the Buffalo Basement podcast, where we will be talking about Bills and Sabres for the foreseeable future. I have myself, Matt Digert, as the host, and I have Pat Bruckness as my co-host here tonight. And we're gonna get into some things here, but we do have to take care of some admin stuff first. We are brought to you by Stang Insurance Consulting. Definitely contact them. Go to their website and everything like that. Definitely follow us on Twitter at the Buffalo Basement Podcast, and now on YouTube as well, the Buffalo Basement Podcast. And we'll be putting this episode and probably some shorts and things like that up as we get closer to the season for the Bills. And we got the draft in on the 28th for hockey, so we're definitely going to be talking next week more about that and free agency starting on July 1st. So welcome, Pat.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We have a good show for you guys today. I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, definitely anybody who's a Bills fan would hope to tune into this and hear what we're talking about. We are going to be talking about a little bit about the stadium first, and then we'll get into some of the training camp battles that we're excited to see here. So let's get into it. First and foremost, Pat, what do you think about the new stadium?
Overall, the renderings I've seen from it, I like it. I like how they have the three buffaloes outside the stadium with our Hall of Fame numbers, like Jim Kelly, our Hall of Famers, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, I think Andre Reed, and I think Steve Tasker. I think that's a really cool piece.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, are do you think they're going to be the size that they put in the renderings?
I hope not. Hope they're just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, no, definitely be a good thing. And I've seen some things and talk on Twitter this week about, how the Bills have 60,000 or 63,000 season ticket holders, give or take a couple, and they're talking about it being a 60,000 stadium. But I wanted to touch on that a little bit because from everything that I've read, it's going to be a 62,000 person stadium, and they're also talking now. I don't know if this is above the 62,000 or included in the 62,000, but from things I read, it was above the 62,000. Is that like party deck that they were talking about with the 5,000 up to 5,000 that can hold up to 5,000 people. So I mean, you're talking going from what it is now at 71,608 to about 67,000 at the most people. Number one, that's gonna create more of an intimate atmosphere at the stadium. Number two, it's going to put you more in line with the rest of the stadiums. I think Lucas Oil Stadium has 62.5 or something like that. But that's definitely more in line with them. And then doing the party deck, like kind of like Dallas has, the Rams have, because that's kind of the new thing where people can just go in and stand and watch the game rather than go sit in a seat. Um, there is only 5,000 or up to 5,000 standing room. So who knows how they're going to do that, but definitely wanted to touch on that a little bit as well. I don't personally, I think that it's a good thing. I mean, we started at 80,000 people before they put the suites in and things like that. Um, and then they dropped it down to about 70 where they are now at 71,608. So I definitely think a little bit smaller. Yes, it's not going to be as many fans in the stadium, but you're talking about 4,000, 5,000 less. You're not talking like 15,000 less. And on top of that, too, when they start issuing the product seats, the PSLs, the product seat licensing stuff, you're probably going to see some of those fans that are season ticket holders. Yes, it's unfortunate, but you're going to probably see some of them go. But then again, you could have some come back, so it might kind of weigh itself out. So we'll see what happens there. They have until 2026, so but you're probably going to see those things start coming out early. And yeah, I think I definitely want to go. I definitely can't wait to go. I definitely can't wait to see it. Can't wait to drive down Abbott and see the stadium going up and things like that. So I mean, how do you feel about it, like personally?
Like you said, it's not 15,000 less. It's not that big of a difference. So I think it's still going to be okay, especially with how loud our fans are.
Yeah,
It'll
and
make
that's the other
it'll be
thing.
loud.
That's the other thing, though, too, is I think that having a smaller stadium and the way that they're talking about building it, I think it's actually going to end up being louder than what you know Highmark Stadium is now. I still call it the Ralph or Rich Stadium personally, but the Highmark Stadium is definitely definitely something that I would like to see be a little bit louder.
I agree. I One thing I saw from the renderings too, I think the fans are covered. It's kind of like Seattle type.
Partial covering. It's supposed to cover all fans, but it's not like a full dome or anything like that. So it's got that. Uh, Tottenham Stadium is something that people can go look up and see really and get a idea of how the stadium's going to be, how the covering is going to be, how that's going to be put out there, because it's the same architects that basically designed that are who the Bills got to design this. So as far as that goes, I mean, I've looked at Tottenham Stadium. It's an awesome looking stadium. I'm excited for them to do that. Plus, put the the Buffalo spin on it too. But the major thing that I really wanted to kind of touch on too is I really think that they need to build up that area around there so that yes, you're losing 5,000 fans with access to the actual stadium, but you can put bars, restaurants, hotels around there. You can do things like where they were, that the Sabres do with the party in the plaza. You can do things like that where people that only go to tailgate can still enjoy the game. They can go into a bar next door, or things like that. Things that there is also going to bring in money into the town of Orchard Park as well. So I mean, I really want to see them, build up that area because you don't have anything around there. It's really, yes, they have um, Prohibition there, they have O'Neill's, and they have Big Tree down the street. But other than that, they really don't have anything around there. It's not a true destination location, which is one of the reasons why they built the Harbor Center for the Sabres, is because now you have the hotel there. Before you had 716 there. Yes, it's still there. It's owned under different ownership and it's something else now, but those things were put there to make it an attraction and bring things into Buffalo. They need to do the same thing with the Bills Stadium as well.
I agree. I mean, I was down there last July, and there was not a lot of hotels, bars around. So yeah, like you said though, if they add some more attractions, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it gives people something to do on a Sunday rather than just go drink at a bar somewhere else. They're there. Tailgating is awesome, and then you can go watch the game in a bar, or watch the game and they do something at a hotel or something of that nature where they can, put like they could build like a projection room screen there that holds 100 people or something like that, and you can rent that out or for family, friends, things like that, where you can do something like that that's going to attract people down there, and you put 100 inch screen or what you do, maybe the size of like a movie theater or something like that, where those people come in, or the hotel themselves sells tickets for that for Sundays, or a Sunday night football game for we're going to be in. I know I'm using this year as an example, but we're going to be in New York, in New York City or in New Jersey technically, for the season opener for the Bills against the Jets. You could sell something like that where it was a movie theater type style thing where they could go in there and people could watch it there. So it attracts people to that location if the stadium was done now. But I'm just saying something like that where it's a Sunday night game or anything like that. How do you feel about that? Like what would you like to see go down there?
I think you hit it pretty spot on. Maybe like you said, a movie theater, more hotels, bars. I think you hit it exactly on the spot.
Yeah, and I think it definitely would help out too with bringing more people into Orchard Park as well, and start building that into like I said, a destination. But I know I've kind of repeated myself a couple times with that, but I really really am passionate about that, and I'd love to see something like that go in there because yes, everybody's going to watch the Bills game on a Sunday or a Monday night or a Thursday night or a Sunday night, but there isn't anything else to do down there right by the stadium other than go to the Bills game. So if you start building the area around there, you're going to get people into these places. So, but with that being said, I know we wanted to, I wanted to touch on that for a few seconds just because there's so much misinformation on Twitter. And do I feel bad for these fans that are going to be, that may lose out on that? Yes, I do. But at the same time, we're not losing that much either. We're getting a better stadium. We're getting more, a more attractive stadium. We're gonna be able to bring people into there. So hopefully they do the things that, or something of the nature that I was talking about. But with that being said, I did want to get into the training camp battles and talk about specifically like your linebackers, your defensive ends. Obviously, we know Von Miller, Leonard Floyd are going to be there. They're not going anywhere. They're pretty much entrenched as starters. We know Josh Allen is entrenched as the starter there at quarterback. But I do want to touch on some things other than like your wide receiver 3, 4, 5 battle. Are they going to with that, are they going to keep 6? So who would be the 6th receiver? I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the backup roles of the defensive ends, the linebackers. Other than Trey White, because he's pretty much entrenched into being your starting cornerback, does he come back or does he drop down to like a cornerback 2? And does Elam take his spot because of Trey's knee? From what everything we've heard and seen, it doesn't seem like that's going to be it, but that's the type of thing we want to talk about here tonight. So, with that being said, Pat, I'll let you start it off.
Well, I've seen a few ideas on Twitter. Maybe splitting the reps for Tre'Davious White. Like, don't put him as one. Split him between him and Kyer, and then have Benford as the other one, as the cornerback 2. Me personally, I don't like that idea. I want to see, obviously, I want to see Trey at 1 because they said he's looked very good. It looks like he's gaining confidence in his knee. And so, me personally, I'm looking forward to the cornerback matchup. Cornerback 2. I think Kyer Elam will be the perfect person to put on the opposite side of Tre'Davious White. He's a man corner. And in my opinion, I think when we go up against a elite wide receiver, especially with Kyer Elam being a man corner, he would be great against Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams. So that's really where I'm looking. It's a cornerback matchup.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the cornerback matchup. I definitely want to see. I mean, I definitely, want to take a look at that stuff, and you know, I really want to see 2 top cornerbacks. 2 shutdown cornerbacks on either side. We already know Taron Johnson's going to be in there for the. Um, we already know he's going to be in there for the nickel corner. So, with that being said, I mean, I does Benford beat out Elam?
Me personally, I know our front office, our coaches, they love Benford. I still think Elam's going to take the job. I feel
I do
like
too.
he's going to come in because he's a hard worker. Look, even in his draft process, he had a notebook of every big play that they allowed. He loves getting better, and so I really think Elam is going to take that cornerback too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely would agree with you. As far as that goes, I definitely agree with you. I think it's going to end up being, Trey White 1, Elam 2. I think Benford, you know, staying healthy, he would be 3. I want to see the battle between 3, 4, and 5 for cornerback to see if it's Alex Austin that wins the job at 5 or if it's somebody else that steps up and does that. We already know how they feel about Dane Jackson, so I truly feel as though he's going to definitely be here. So with that being said, I mean, we'll definitely see. I mean, we'll definitely see what we got.
I totally forgot about Dane Jackson.
Hmm.
I totally forgot about him. I've been paying a lot of attention to Kyer Elam, so I guess Dane Jackson flew right past me. Who he's a good backup corner too. I still would like to see Kyer Elam on the opposite side of Tre'Davious White for the reason of him being a man corner. Look what he did against Miami, against Tyreek Hill.
Right.
It is, I think, what was that, his second career start or third? He locked him down, 32 yards.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's definitely one thing that I'm looking forward to as far as the Benford thing goes and the Elam thing goes, is to see if one of those guys can shut down a team's number 2 receiver or a team's number 3 receiver, whatever that case may be. So, with that being said, I mean, what's the next position that we want to move on to?
We can go into linebacker at the mic.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Me personally, I think we'll see either AJ Klein or Terrell Bernard win it. Oh, I forgot about Tyrell Dodson. I think Tyrell Dodson's gonna win it for the reason of when Tremaine Evans got hurt. I think he was not playing against Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. I know he stepped in for Tremaine against Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like they have trust in him. He's been in our system long enough to know our system, and I feel like our coaches, they all have trust in him. He has the experience with us. So me personally, I think Tyrell Dodson's gonna take that position to start at least.
Yeah, see, I feel a little bit different. I mean, I don't think that Tyrell Dodson's going to win that job. I really truly feel as though that it's either going to be Bernard or Spector. I really do. I think both of them. Bernard gives you that side to side stuff that you can definitely see, and